Today we venture to a place full of mysteries and wonders, Madagascar, the jewel of the Indian Ocean. Known for its incredible biodiversity, this island is home to species you won't find anywhere else on the planet. From the charming lemurs to the colorful chameleons, the fauna of Madagascar is as diverse as its landscape. Discover with us the secrets of this magical land, rich in culture and ancient traditions. Madagascar, one of the most remote and unknown places in the world, is also one of the most fascinating and beautiful. This archipelago in the Indian Ocean is famous for its unique traditions and customs that surprise visitors. In the south of Madagascar, there is a tradition in which some local women offer themselves to tourists as a sign of hospitality and strength. This practice, though strange to many, is a display of the deep and sometimes unusual customs that are still maintained in some communities on the island. Madagascar also has a rich and often turbulent history. It was an island preferred by pirates for centuries, and the scene of one of the largest genocides in history, which halved its population in a short period. This mix of history, culture, and nature makes Madagascar a truly unique destination in the world. Madagascar is an island located in the Indian Ocean, southeast of Africa. Despite being the fourth largest island in the world, its population density is low due to its isolated and unique nature. Madagascar's remote location and vast expanse make it an ideal place for adventurers and nature lovers. The climate varies considerably depending on the region and time of year. Generally, the island has dry and wet seasons, with temperatures that can exceed 30 degrees Celsius in some areas during the summer. The coastal areas tend to have a more moderate climate due to the influence of the Indian Ocean. The name Madagascar comes from a combination of Malagasy and Portuguese words. It is believed to originate from the Malagasy phrase Medina Congo, which means land of the Malagasy. This name reflects the rich cultural heritage and history of the country, contributing to its unique identity. In the 15th century, Portuguese navigators were the first Europeans to reach the island, which they called the island of São Lourenço. However, over time, the Malagasy name prevailed and became the accepted name for the island. The Malagasy language is as unique and fascinating as the island itself, with influences mainly Austronesian, African, and Indonesian. It is the primary language of Madagascar and is spoken by the vast majority of the population. Despite the existence of numerous dialects on the island, Standard Malagasy is used in education, the media, and government administration. In addition to its rich linguistic and cultural history, Madagascar has a legendary reputation as a pirate haven. During the 12th and 18th centuries, the island, with its jagged coast and numerous small islands, offered ideal hideouts for pirates who roamed the nearby sea routes. The legend of the lost treasure of Madagascar. For centuries, the island of Madagascar has been a magnet for treasure hunters, historians, and adventurers, thanks to the numerous legends and myths about famous pirates who supposedly hid their treasures on the island. One of the most famous protagonists of these stories is the pirate Olivier Levasseur, known as La Buse. It is said that before being captured and executed on the island of Réunion, La Buse threw a cryptogram to the public that supposedly revealed the location of his treasure in Madagascar. Despite numerous attempts to decipher the message, La Buse's treasure remains an unsolved enigma. Although some believe that these legends might be exaggerated or unfounded myths, it is true that Madagascar was a popular destination for pirates. The possibility of discovering lost treasure remains a powerful attraction for tourists and treasure seekers alike. The island of Madagascar continues to be a fascinating destination for modern adventurers and those looking to unearth the secrets of the past. Traveling to Madagascar today is much simpler than in pirate times. Travelers can arrive by plane through several international airports, such as Ivato International Airport in Antananarivo, the country's capital, and Nosy Be Airport on the island of the same name, a popular tourist destination. Additionally, there are regional airports that offer domestic flights. Madagascar, the fourth largest island in the world after Greenland, New Guinea, and Borneo, offers a diversity of landscapes ranging from lush rainforests to arid deserts and spectacular mountains. Antananarivo, its capital, is a vibrant center of culture and activity. Among the top places to visit is Nosy Be, a beautiful islet in northern Madagascar, known for its white sandy beaches, crystal clear waters, and lush vegetation. It is a popular destination for diving and snorkeling, as well as for relaxing in luxury resorts. In the east, Sainte Marie Island is famous for being a haven for humpback whales during the mating season and for its beautiful beaches. Madagascar also boasts numerous picturesque towns and cities that offer a unique glimpse into Malagasy life and culture. The main island, known as the Great Red Island, is home to an incredible diversity of landscapes, from lush jungles to arid deserts. Thus, with or without treasure, Madagascar remains a fascinating destination, full of history, culture, and natural beauty, waiting to be explored by modern adventurers. The reality of traditions and tourism in southern Madagascar. Southern Madagascar, known for its impressive Isolo National Park, attracts numerous tourists with its spectacular rock formations, deep canyons, and hidden oases, making it a paradise for hikers and nature lovers. However, a darker reality also lurks in this region and in islands like Nosy Bay. The presence of tourists accompanied by young women. According to investigations, this situation is linked to local customs in some villages, where single women and women from certain ethnic groups are expected to offer intimate relations to village men and visitors. These traditions make rejecting a tourist seen as shameful. In Malagasy culture, many young women must move from their family homes in their mid-teens to small huts near the parental home as part of an initiation rite into adulthood, preparing them for marriage. Unfortunately, this ancient tradition, still in place in the 21st century, leaves single young women vulnerable to men who hover around their huts at night, influenced by ancient local beliefs. Suitors who might marry these young women lose interest if they become pregnant. As a result, Madagascar has one of the highest rates of teenage pregnancy and child marriage in the world. According to the United Nations, 41% of girls are married before the age of 18. This situation has led to hordes of foreign men traveling to Madagascar each year in search of these women, exacerbating the problem. Anthropologist Jeffrey Kaufman, an expert on southern Madagascar issues, explains that, from a traditional Malagasy perspective, it makes sense for parents to move young women to their own homes to become sexual beings. According to Kaufman, this practice prepares young women for life, marriage, and motherhood. The girls' huts are located east of the family's main home, in respect to ancestors, who are believed to influence the luck of the living. These women and single girls, known in Madagascar as hampalatobo, may receive payments from men who enter their huts. This reality contributes to Madagascar having one of the highest fertility rates in the world, with an average of 4 children per woman. This phenomenon, along with cultural practices and challenging socio-economic conditions, creates a complex reality in Madagascar, where natural beauty and local traditions coexist with significant social challenges. The economic and natural reality of Madagascar. Unfortunately, one of the factors perpetuating ancient traditions in Madagascar is that the country is currently one of the poorest in the world, with a GDP per capita of only $520. Throughout its history, Madagascar has had a poorly diversified economy, centered on raw materials and agriculture. Its main export is vanilla, of which more than 50% of the world's production comes from Madagascar. In addition to vanilla, Madagascar is an important exporter of gold, nickel, cobalt, and iron. However, despite these resources, the country remains very poor. This is partly due to a period in its history when it adopted a government model based on Marxist-Leninist ideology. During this time, numerous regulations and trade restrictions were imposed, negatively affecting business development and, consequently, the economic well-being of the population. This poverty, combined with ancient traditions, contributes to Madagascar having one of the highest rates of pregnancies among young people. It is also one of the most densely populated places in the world. With a population of over 28 million inhabitants, its population density is comparable to countries like Colombia. However, despite this high density, Madagascar does not have cities exceeding 2 million inhabitants, as more than 60% of its population resides in rural areas. Madagascar is also distinguished by its exceptional biodiversity, the result of its considerable size and geographic isolation for millions of years. Separated from the African continent for over 80 million years, the island has evolved as a unique natural laboratory, hosting a surprising variety of endemic flora and fauna. Approximately 90% of plant and animal species in Madagascar are not found anywhere else in the world. Among the most fascinating aspects of Madagascar's biodiversity are its incredible varieties of lemurs. Another unique and extraordinary animal is the Malagasy giant rat, capable of jumping up to a meter in the air, and the tenrecs, small mammals endemic to Madagascar, with characteristics reminiscent of moles, shrews, and hedgehogs, demonstrating extraordinary evolutionary diversity. Madagascar also has a large number of unique plant species, many of which have medicinal properties and have been used by local communities for centuries. The island is home to an astonishing variety of reptiles and amphibians, including colorful chameleons and poisonous frogs. With its tropical forests, rugged mountains, and pristine coasts, Madagascar is a true treasure of biodiversity that continues to fascinate scientists and nature lovers around the world. The fascinating history and culture of Madagascar. Madagascar is one of the last places on the planet to be populated by humans. The first to arrive were the Austronesians, from present-day Southeast Asia, around the year 500 AD. Later, to a lesser extent, Bantu people from southeastern Africa arrived. A small migration of Arabs later settled on the island, and finally, Europeans made their appearance, turning Madagascar into a unique mix of ethnicities and cultures. With a total area of over 587,000 square kilometers, Madagascar is as vast as Ukraine or Kenya. Its coastline extends for at least 5,000 kilometers, similar to the coastline of Argentina or Spain. Along its coastline, there are countless paradisiacal beaches, coral reefs, and even mangroves. These last ones are still not frequented by many tourists, as international tourism is not highly developed, and these natural corners remain off traditional tourist routes. Regarding the crocodiles of Madagascar, it is important to note that they do exist in the mangroves and other bodies of water on the island. However, they generally do not pose a significant threat to humans, as they tend to be shy and avoid contact with people. Madagascar has been governed independently for much of its history. Although the Portuguese arrived on the islands in the 15th century, it was the French who colonized it starting in 1897. Madagascar was a French colony until 1958, when it declared its independence as the Republic of Madagascar. One of the most fascinating cultural practices in Madagascar is the famadihana, also known as the Dance of the Dead. This unique tradition reflects the Malagasy culture's deep connection with their ancestors and the importance of keeping the memory of those who have passed away alive. The famadihana is held every few years, depending on the community and family traditions, and is usually a festive and meaningful event. During this ritual, family members gather to exhume the remains of their loved ones from the family tombs. Once unearthed, the bodies are carefully cleaned and dressed in new garments as a gesture of respect and renewal. The celebration continues with a joyful procession, accompanied by music and dances, in which family members carry the bodies of their deceased through the village or community. This act symbolizes the recognition of the ancestors' continuous presence in the daily lives of the family and community, as well as a way to show them that they are still remembered and loved. The cultural and traditional richness of Madagascar. Famadihana is a unique and surprising example of how cultures can express mourning and reverence for the deceased in meaningful ways. Although it may seem strange from a Western perspective, for the Malagasy people, this practice represents a profound and ingrained way to keep the memory and legacy of those who have passed away alive. This tradition is closely linked to the predominant religion in Madagascar. While the country has a large number of Catholics, Protestants, and Muslims, the majority of the population follows animism, a series of traditional beliefs that merge Austronesian and African religions. In animism, there are many cultural norms and taboos known as fadi, where many actions can bring fortune or misfortune, depending on beliefs and superstitions. These beliefs are deeply rooted in Malagasy society and reflect the importance of spirituality and connection with the spiritual world. Madagascar, also known as the Great Red Island, owes its name to the iron and aluminum-rich soils that tint the earth with intense red colors. This unique feature creates a remarkable phenomenon during the rainy season, when the water carries these sediments and deposits them into the sea, creating the appearance that the island is bleeding into the ocean. An impressive and distinctive image seen from the air or from a distance. Before the great colonial powers set their sights on these lands, Madagascar was a favorite refuge for many pirates due to its strategic location near the world's main trade routes. It is known that Captain James Mason founded a colony known as Libertatia on the island. Living with pirates was so common that Sainte Marie Island, 6 kilometers off the east coast of Madagascar, was known as the Island of Pirates on maps of the time. Clothing in Madagascar is also notably distinctive. Both men and women wear the same garment, known as lamba, a rectangular piece of cloth that is wrapped around the body in various ways. This versatile and unisex garment allows for dozens of different combinations, adapting to various styles and occasions. Historically, Madagascar was a kingdom, and one of its most notorious monarchs was Queen Ranavalona, known as the Caligula of Madagascar. During her cruel reign starting in 1828, Ranavalona took extreme measures to consolidate her power, eliminating most of her family who could be a threat to her throne. Additionally, she implemented a policy of genocide against anyone practicing the Christian faith on her lands, resulting in the expulsion and persecution of numerous citizens. Madagascar, with its rich mix of cultures, impressive natural landscapes, and deep traditions, continues to be a place of great interest and charm for both scholars and travelers. The tragic history and natural wealth of Madagascar. During her reign, Queen Ranavalona not only persecuted Christians, but also expelled most foreigners, confiscating their property and expelling them from the country. These actions caused a great emigration, leading to a drastic reduction in the population of the archipelago. In just 33 years of Ranavalona's rule, Madagascar's population decreased from 5 million to half, marking a dark period in the country's history. These events have shaped the history and identity of Madagascar over the centuries. Madagascar also faces numerous earthquakes each year, despite being far from any active tectonic fault. At least 500 earthquakes are recorded annually due to the island's thin crust, which intensifies mantle activity. This geological activity makes Madagascar one of the most geologically active countries in the world. Madagascar is a very mountainous country, with plateaus in its central area ranging between 500 and 1,500 meters in altitude, while its coasts are quite flat, with an average elevation of 400 meters. The island's average height is comparable to Japan or Colombia, and its highest peak is Mount Maromokotro, which rises to about 2,876 meters above sea level. Aside from its mountains, traditions, unique fauna, and biodiversity, Madagascar has several UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Among them is the Royal Hill of Ambohimanga, a burial site over 500 years old that holds great cultural and spiritual significance for the Malagasy people. Also notable are the rainforests of Atsinanana, which harbor a unique diversity of flora and fauna, including many rare species of primates and lemurs, some of which are endemic to Madagascar and found nowhere else in the world. These are just a few examples of the many places and curiosities that Madagascar has to offer. Whether exploring its remote islands, discovering its rich culture, or marveling at its impressive biodiversity, traveling to Madagascar can become an unforgettable experience on your next trip. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and your comment. See you in the next video.